Welcome once again to my channel. This is a special edition of my YouTube videos. It's going to be a playlist of where I discuss all things AWS, cloud computing. We'll be talking about AWS console. We would, move around the components and try to understand the interface and some of the most important components of the AWS console. So you basically have to create an account to follow up with this. Creating an AWS account is free. They have a free tier version, and on that free tier version, you would be debited $1 will be debited, but they just need that $1 to verify that your account is actually valid, or your bank account or your credit card or debit card is actually valid. So after that, they would basically, after verification, they will basically send back your $1. That's how it works. So using AWS free tier version is what I suggest you do to follow up with this, should I call it a playlist? So once you've created an account, you come here and log in with that your account. I personally created a root account, and it's not advisable to use your root account for experimentation. But if you're just using this for the first time, log in with your new account. So I have all of that set up. We'll sign in. Voila. So this is the AWS console dashboard. This has a lot of dashboards inside of it, but this is the main dashboard. It's your console home. So on the top left button is where you have the button for services. You click on that, and we have a variety of all kinds of services in AWS. Let's check how many services we have. So how many services do we have on AWS? We have over 200 services and counting in AWS. AWS is basically the largest cloud platform in the world. I suggest you use AWS. So you have analytics session. This has most of the services for your analytics, cloud search, antenna. We'll get into most of this once we move forward. We have the application integration session. This is a section where we have services that can be used to integrate your application. We have the SNS service, which is very popular as the simple notification service. Is a very popular one. We have the AR and VR section. This is still, I feel there's still a lot more to do here, but so far so good. We have Amazon Sumerian is used to build AR, VR, and 3D applications. And then the next session is the AWS cost management. AWS cost management is something that as a developer, you need to always go there to check your cost, because I have experiences of just building on the platform, experimenting with different tools and not checking my budget or my billings. So this is a very important session I advise developers to look into. And then we have a blockchain section. We also have for business applications. Alexa for Business is a popular one. Amazon Connect is a contact center that enables engagement at any scale. So one of the cool things about cloud is scalability and availability. So with cloud, you can basically scale up and scale down depending on how you design your application, and also depending on how you have different traffic coming to your application. Cloud is always highly available, especially AWS. and you pay for what you use, basically. So we have the compute session. I think this compute session is a very important place. We'll play around here a lot. EC2, which is a virtual server in the cloud, is like a pioneer of AWS services. Elastic Beanstalk is also a very uh, popular compute service. Lambda 2 is incredible. I mean, these services are incredible services. I played around with them. We'll come here some other time to still play around with some of these services. Containers section, very important. The EKS. With my experience, EKS is a very useful tool in terms of microservices. And you have to be careful with this one because if you're not careful, you can spend a lot of money. Uh, Customer enablement, we have a database section. We'll come here to DynamoDB. Is a new SQL service. We have RDS. These are the very popular ones. Managed relational database service. We would have a special session for or special tutorial for RDS and DynamoDB. So developer tools, Cloud9, as a DevOps personnel, you would be using a lot of this service. We'll come back to this, but DevOps, Cloud Dev, you need this. So end user computing, you have stuff in front end, web, and mobile. AWS Amplify makes your work easier and faster. This is a tool that you cannot run away from. So AWS Amplify is a complete platform, frameworks, tools, and app services for developing, building, testing, and running mobile or web applications. So it is one box that fits all. That's how I see AWS Amplify. It's a new thing, it's a new kid around the block, but it's highly effective, makes your work easier and faster. I have a section on game development. I have a section on the IoTs. I haven't really done much around this, but sometime in the future we'll play around this part. Internet of Things, machine learning, governance, and management and governance. Now, management and governance is a very, 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 very I cannot emphasize how useful this section is. It's kind of like government of the entire AWS console. Okay, so there's a lot here. I won't go into this deeply for now. So we have the media services, then we have the migration and transfer services. Everything on AWS is just well categorized. I think that's the word. And then we have the networking and content delivery. API gateway is also CloudFront. There's a lot here, Route 53, which is your DNS, service. We have the VPC is very important, also the virtual private cloud, So for quantum technology section, we have something for robotics, we have something for satellites, ground stations, we have security, identity, and compliance. This also is a backbone. I believe this works hand in hand with the government of AWS console. Your IAM is very important. This is kind of like your identity management service. There's a lot here. And then we have storage. So AFS, Elastic File Storage. We have the S3. Wow. S3 is also a pioneer in most of this service. Simple storage service. Yeah. So that's it for the services. Let's now come back home here. On the top right corner here, we have the Cloud Shell. You can click on that it takes you to a Cloud Shell. That's also kind of like a service where you can SSH into, well, you're not SSHing because you're already into the terminal of your cloud. So if you do ls here, we have nothing here. Let's see cd out home ls. So this is basically shell. Same way you walk around your Linux terminal, very similar. And you can do a lot of manipulation to your applications right here on the cloud shell. So let's go back home. You have a bell icon for notifications and events. You have this for your help, training sessions, documentations, uh, support center, anything that has to do with some form of learning, enlightenment, and getting more information about stuff. You click on this. Here, where we have Virginia. Now, this is a very important concept in cloud computing. They are called AZs in A and Z. So AZs, availability zones in AWS. So availability zones are basically data centers in a specific region. And Virginia is a region and it has an availability zone, which is US East. So all around the world, AWS has a data center all around the world. Very, should I say, they're all over the place. I would say resourceful. Yeah, resourceful and very reliable. So AZs stand for availability zones, very important. So you can, these are like places where, or locations where you can build your applications on, and your application is hosted on that specific AZ availability zone or region. We'll get into this in some later sessions. On the top right, far right is where you have your things that have to do with your account. So as you can see, your account ID, you have that there. Your IAM username, you have that there. You can click on this to check more about your account, your security credentials, your settings. You can also switch roles. And then one important thing is this billing dashboard. When I started using AWS, I didn't pay much attention to my billing dashboard, and that was a big problem for me. Okay, it says I don't have permissions to access billing. This is because it's saying that contact your AWS administrator if you need some help. If you are an AWS administrator, you can provide permissions for your users or groups. So the reason why this is happening is because this particular user doesn't have that I have privilege or permission to check the billings, to check the dashboard. So if I had used my root account, I would see most of those information here. So if you use your root account, you definitely see your billing right here. So this is not a root account, it's just an account I created for experimentation. What else? Yeah, so you can reset the default layout. You can add widgets from here, how you want your console home to look, like right now I just added my favorite widgets. So if I want to use that, I can come here, some of my favorites. I'll add, let's add compute. So EC2, you just click on the star, it adds to it. Elastic Beanstalk, Lambda, my favorites, right? So AKS, let's take a few from here. Let's take RDS, let's take DynamoDB. Oops, DynamoDB. Let's take something from governance. Oh, governance. Cloud formation, cloud trail. Let's take something from here. API gateway. So what as I'm adding these things, you see on this bar here, you add them, and then the more you add, you see them pop up here. So this is like an easy way for you to access these services instead of going all the way out to search for it. Yeah. So there's also a search bar too. So if I search for EKS, it would asynchronously bring out relevant information regarding the service. All right. So and this right session you can read, it has training certifications. These are like external links. You scroll down as soon as you start using AWS and there's a cost to it, calculates it and then put that out here. Your health issues. I don't mean your personal health issues, but AWS health issues pop up here as soon as you start using them. And then these are like already build a solution, start building with simple wizards and automated workflows. AWS makes things very easy for you. All arranged, all the information you need all in one place. So you can still have some more extra information here once you click on this information icon. So AWS, I can't say more or less about them. No, I can't say less about them actually. I can say more. I would always say more about them. There are other cloud services, GCP, Google Cloud Platform, Microsoft Azure, there's a Digital Ocean, there's a number of them. So I am more peculiar and more, I just like AWS. So that's it for this session. If you have any questions, please put them down below on the comments section. Click on the like button, click on the bell icon to get more information anytime I'm releasing a new video. Please share and also subscribe. Those numbers do a lot. It encourages us to do more and more. So thank you for attending this session. Till next time, I wish you all the best.